Okay. So we have a search result here and we want to grab the links. This is the script. This is the script. But let's look through it to see how it works. So, first thing, we have this first query selector all function, which is getting every class name G within this window, within the document. Alternatively, you could call any of these other classes, but I like to get the parent of the list item typically. So once we have that, we have this node list, right? All of each one of these divs. But what we want within this node is the a tag href. And we can call that by going through each one of these div elements and then within it asking for the tag name a. There's a complicated way to do this, which involves for loops and all this stuff, but not really necessary. There's a function within JavaScript which allows us to convert things to an array. So when you have these node lists, they're kind of like an array, but not really. But we can convert them to an array by saying array from, and then we just wrap it in here. Then we get this nice array that we can call from. Now that we have that array, we can use the map function. Now let's take a look at the map function. The map object holds key value pairs and remembers the original insertion order of the keys. Now, map is essentially a fast, it's actually not faster, it takes longer technically, but a cleaner method of looping through an array and returning the objects or elements within the array in the order they were defined. So we could take this array and loop through it on a for loop and then push it into a pseudo array or a temporary array, but it's really not necessary because we can use the map function to specify what we want to happen. And so within the map function, we pass in this argument item, and what item will represent is every single item within the array. And so we use the arrow function to tell it what to do afterward. The older way to do this in ES5 would be able to declare a function here, do it that way, but it's a little bit cleaner to read, I think, to just do an arrow function, and we return item, which is one of these things or one of these div elements. So iterating through each one, we'll say get elements by tag name. We want the a tag, and it's always going to be the first one, at least here. And we want the href. Well, let's look at what it does if we don't get the href. Okay, so it just gives us each one of these divs, right? And then we can look in here and we can see the different elements. Here's the href. That's what we want to call. So we have this element, and we want to call this href element within it. So to do that, say dot href. We have all of our links. Boom. Now I don't know, if you wanted to open all of those up, you could give this an array, assign this array to a variable, call it links. Then you could say links for each. Now, this is again another cleaner way of iterating through an array, but technically takes longer just due to the way it operates. We could say, all right, so for each item within the array, we want to open a window. A window, meaning a new tab, open the item. Boom. And do that a lot of times, and that's how you get banned on LinkedIn. Anyway, you get the idea, hopefully. I mean, might as well look at other methods for doing this, I suppose. Instead of saying query selector all, you could say get elements by class name. Well, I say that. What did I do? Oh, we don't want that period. There we go. So it achieves the same thing. Lately, I don't like typing this out a whole bunch. And so lately I have been using functions. Clean this up a little bit. So I'll declare variable function here that I can pass this stuff through. And so this makes it easier for me to read. It could be, whatever, I guess, for you. But yeah, the way you would do that is just say EBCN. Document. Whatever. I don't feel like going through that right now because I have to reorder it. But okay, hopefully that helps. It's a pretty quick and simple way to get at the elements in here. Definitely check out this array from. Definitely learn the map function. This will save you a lot of time. It's not always, doesn't work for everything. Sometimes you do need to do it the hard way. So yeah, let's just go ahead and do it the hard way. So let's talk about how to go about that. So what we would do normally, if we wanted to do it the hard way, so we'd say items is what I'm going to call this, even though these aren't technically list items. The list. And we would assign this variable, this collection of documents, or collection of elements. And we'd loop through it by saying for r 0 is less than list items length I plus plus. That's going to iterate through it. So first we're declaring I as a variable and saying that it's 0. So we're going to just use that as an iterator. Then we'll say list items, iterator. Then we would call this tag name within it And I guess we should give this some variable, just call it. And we can console log it, or we can push it into an array. And then console log the array. We haven't declared this array, so we need to do that real quick. Top. Don't want to do it within the for loop, because if you do, you'll end up with a new empty array every time it loops around and only have one item in it. At the end, here we can just say, and you get the same thing. It's just, I think I don't know, this is probably easier to read to me, but this is quicker to type. So it's just a matter of preference. Definitely check out the map function. It's pretty handy. It was a good year before I started using it. I use it all the time now.